2NURFM, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.
And great to have Professor Tim Roberts, Director of the Farrell Institute for Environment, the University of Newcastle, in the studio. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Morning, Todd. Morning.
Tell me, do you know who said this? I thought you might know this. This might tickle you. I think there is a world market for maybe 5 computers. Any idea who may have said that?
Oh, I think that might have been was it Einstein or the head of IBM, was it?
Knew you would get it.
The head of IBM.
Because you said, you're going to put me on the spot here. It was Thomas Watson, chairman of IBM, 1943. Imagine that.
Yes, incredible.
I think there is a world market for maybe 5 hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... No, oh dear, there's 9 in the studio. Not even taking into consideration all the cameras that we've got in here. So, wow, that's amazing, isn't it?
Isn't it amazing? The world's changed, absolutely changed, but what hasn't changed is that people still drop their damn rubbish.
Unfortunately, that is the case. The wrap-up of Clean Up Australia Day.
Oh, yes. It went well. We had a small group here from the university, went out to Bray Creek and Bray Park and did well out there. Got all sorts of things, lounge chairs, tyres, and then other people were in the paper. They were down in Throsby Creek, got 7 shopping trolleys. Can you believe that?
Yeah, sadly I can believe it, which is unfortunate.
My wife goes berserk every time she sees a shopping trolley in the street. She says, you know, those things cost $350. That's totally irresponsible.
That was more than my first car cost me, isn't that? It's probably more reliable than my first car.
Yes. So this whole business started in Australia, like many things started in Australia. Wi-Fi started in Australia by CSIRO, but that's by the by. But Ian Kiernan sailed around the world in 1987, saw all the plastic in the sea, came home, said, what can I do? So 1989, got some mates together and they started Clean Up Sydney. And now it's all over the world. I think, looking at a website, I saw that some 130 countries are now doing Clean Up.
Their country, insert country name there.
Yeah.
Do you think we're getting better, or are we seeing less and less, or are we seeing more and more? Is the tide turned, or is it just getting higher when it comes to litter and rubbish?
Yeah, I think we're getting better. I really do see less when I drive around the place, and I can't remember when I last saw somebody toss something out of a window of their car. But equally, people don't want to pay the dumping fees at the dump, so they find a place in the bush to get rid of that old wardrobe or that old mattress, and that's really bad.
It's interesting, we've got a mindset that we go and buy a new bed, or we go and buy a new wardrobe, a lounge chair, big bulky item, and a lot of people seem to think that, well, it's not my responsibility to get rid of it, yet it's yours. And it's interesting also, we've been trying to talk to someone from the councils about, because the question we get here all the time is, why don't they have a free day at the tip once a month or once every 2 months? And there's all sorts of taxes and levies, etc., etc. We've been trying for the last 2 days to get someone from one of the councils to come on and explain it to us, but unfortunately at this stage the silence has been...
Oh, perhaps I can help, because we've got a project running out at the Summerhill Waste Treatment Facility where we're looking at trying to find bacteria that will break down polystyrene. We reckon if we get them, we'll be able to create a whole new industry of being able to grow up vats and vats of this bug and then pour it into landfill, and they'll digest the polystyrene, because polystyrene's a huge problem in landfill. You know, that white foam packing stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that protects your computers that you've bought, or your television, or pretty much anything.
Yes.
And what about plastic bags? Many countries are starting to ban it. Can you ever see a situation where we ban the bag one day in Australia?
Bag? Oh, yes, I think so. South Australia's gone that way. South Australia's already gone.
South Australia is a leader in so many amazing incentives and programs, isn't it?
Oh, yes. And I hope in South Australia, we're arranging all over the place, Todd, but I hope in South Australia they become the repository for radioactive waste from all over the world, so we can dump it in one place and we can charge a management fee for all these other countries for eternity, and we all make a lot of money out of it.
It's a different story for another day, isn't it?
Isn't it?
You got some homework for us before we let you go?
I wanted to talk about green bonds next week, if I could, so how we can finance the renewable energy facilities we might want to put on everybody's house or everybody's business.
Fantastic. Professor Tim, we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Looking forward to having a chat then. Director of the Tom Farrell Institute for the Environment.